You walk into a room filled with familiar faces, friends, family, people you've grown up with, and yet you feel alone, empty, like you're pretending to be someone they expect you to be instead of who you truly are. Nothing seems wrong on the surface, but deep down, something feels off, not quite right. Let's take a step back and look at a painful truth. Sometimes it's not what you're doing wrong, it's who you're surrounded by. There are people in your life right now who seem supportive, but secretly doubt you. People who laugh with you, but deep down resent your growth. People who act like family, but silently poison your self-worth. And here's the real tragedy. These people don't usually destroy you in obvious ways. They do it slowly, like a slow leak in a tire. Not loud, not explosive, just a gradual drain of your energy, your confidence, your peace. Dr. Gabor Maté, a renowned trauma expert, once said, "The most toxic people are often the ones who were hurt themselves." But that doesn't mean you need to bleed for them. Just because someone is close to you doesn't mean they're good for you. And if you've ever felt like you're always doubting yourself, always feeling drained, or constantly feeling unworthy around certain people, this video is for you. In today's video, we're going to expose 7 hidden signs that the people around you are slowly destroying your mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. These aren't surface-level red flags. These are deeper, emotional truths that most people miss until it's too late. Why do you need to hear this? Because self-awareness is the first step to freedom. You can't heal what you don't see. You can't protect yourself from what you haven't named. And most importantly, you can't grow around people who keep cutting your roots. This isn't about blame. It's about awareness. It's about learning how to protect your energy, preserve your peace, and rise into your power, even if it means letting go of people you thought would be in your life forever. Nietzsche once wrote, "The snake which cannot cast its skin has to die." As well, the minds which are prevented from changing their opinions, they cease to be mind. You must shed the toxic skins, no matter how familiar they feel. If any part of you is tired of being manipulated, doubted, gaslight, or drained, stay with me. This might be the wake-up call your soul's been begging for. We'll go deep. We'll be real. And I promise, by the end of this video, you'll see yourself and your surroundings with a clarity you didn't have before. Number 1. They constantly make you doubt yourself. Gaslighting is when someone manipulates you into questioning your own reality. Dr. Robin Stern, The Gaslight Effect. You've probably experienced this before. You express your feelings, you speak your truth, you try to set a boundary, but instead of understanding or respect, you get, "You're overreacting. That never happened. You're being too sensitive. Why are you always so negative?" And suddenly, you begin to second-guess yourself. Was I really too sensitive? Did I actually imagine that moment? Maybe I am the problem. This is the beginning of self-erasure. When the people around you constantly dismiss your emotions, invalidate your experiences, or twist situations to make you question your own memory, they are not just hurting you, they are training you to distrust your own mind. That is spiritual violence. Carl Jung warned of this long ago. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. And one way they do that is by making you the problem, so they never have to deal with their own guilt or insecurities. Here's the danger. Over time, you internalize their voice. You stop trusting yourself. You lose your inner compass. You start needing their approval just to feel okay about yourself. You become dependent on their perception of you, and once that happens, they control your reality. Even worse, this pattern is subtle. It can come from a partner, a parent, a sibling, or even a friend. They might not even be doing it consciously. But whether intentional or not, the result is the same. You start shrinking. Your confidence fades. Your light dims. And one day you wake up, not even recognizing who you've become. Let me be clear. Anyone who makes you doubt yourself over and over again is not safe for your spirit. You deserve people who make you feel more like yourself, not less. If you feel like you're constantly defending your feelings, if you walk away from conversations feeling confused or guilty, if you're always the one apologizing, even when you did nothing wrong, pay attention. This is not love, it's control. The most dangerous part, you'll think it's your fault. But today, we name the pattern. And once you name it, you can end it. Start honoring your truth. Start trusting your emotions. Start believing your inner voice again. Number 2, they guilt trip you into staying small. If you fulfill the wishes of others at the expense of your own growth, you will live someone else's life, not yours. Gabor Maté. Sometimes the chains that hold you down aren't made of iron. They're made of guilt. You decide to take care of yourself, to grow, to dream bigger, to set boundaries. But the people around you don't say, "I'm proud of you." They say, "So you think you're better than us now? Wow, you've changed. You're so selfish lately. You don't have time for your real friends anymore." Sound familiar? This is emotional sabotage disguised as love. They don't attack you directly. They just make you feel bad for doing what's good for you. And that guilt is powerful. You shrink. You downplay your success. You ignore your needs. You stay in the same place just to keep their approval. Why do they do this? Because your growth reminds them of their stagnation. Your courage reminds them of their fear. Your healing threatens their comfort. And instead of rising with you, they try to pull you back down to where it feels safe for them. Dr. Gabor Maté puts it best. When you suppress your own needs to preserve connection, you abandon yourself. And here's what's heartbreaking. These guilt trippers are often the people closest to you. Your mother, your brother, your best friend. So it becomes even harder to spot, because it's wrapped in emotional history. But let me ask you this. If someone truly loved you, wouldn't they celebrate your growth, not punish it? True love doesn't guilt you for growing. It cheers you on, even if it makes others uncomfortable. Don't get this confused. Loyalty to others should never come at the cost of betrayal to yourself. If you constantly feel bad for saying no, if you shrink your dreams to keep the peace, if you fear being judged just for trying to be better, that's not love. That's control through guilt. And guilt is a heavy chain, but it breaks the moment you realize you don't owe your suffering to anyone. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to choose peace over people-pleasing. You are allowed to grow, even if others don't come with you. It's not your job to dim your light so others feel less insecure in the dark. So start shining brighter than ever. Number 3, they only support you when you're struggling. Be careful with those who only love you when you're broken. They need you to stay that way to feel strong. Friedrich Nietzsche. At first, this kind of relationship feels warm. You're going through something. They're there. They listen. They comfort you. And it feels like they care deeply. Maybe they do, but not for the right reasons. You begin to notice something strange. Whenever you're struggling, they show up. But the moment you start getting better, they pull away. Your wins feel ignored. Your growth feels awkward. Your good news gets brushed off. You're finally healing, and they go silent. You start succeeding, and they start criticizing. You become more confident, and they say you've changed. That's because their sense of importance came from you being broken. It gave them something to fix. It made them feel needed. It gave them power. But when you rise, they feel threatened, because now you don't need saving. Now you're not under their control. Now You're whole, and they don't know how to connect with that. Nietzsche understood this twisted human tendency. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. But when people don't have a strong why in their own lives, they often cling to others' suffering as a way to feel relevant. They might even subtly sabotage your healing. Don't forget who helped you when you were down. You're not that better yet, don't get cocky. You sure you're okay or just pretending? They want you broken because that's where they feel needed. That's where they feel important. And that's where they know how to love you. But healing changes everything. It changes who you are. It changes what you need. It reveals who was there to see you rise and who only stayed to see you fall. Real friends cheer your healing. Fake ones feed your pain. You must start asking the hard questions. Who supports my strength, not just my sadness? Who claps for my peace, not just my pain? You deserve relationships that grow with your healing, not ones that depend on your suffering. So be mindful. Not everyone wants you whole, and that's okay, because healing also means letting go of those who are only there for your darkest days. Number 4, they subtly compete with you instead of supporting you. People don't want to see you doing better than them. They want to see you doing just well enough to keep them comfortable. Carl Jung. Have you ever shared good news with someone, only to feel bad afterward? You expected them to celebrate with you, but instead, they responded with silence, sarcasm, or a forced smile. Maybe they said something like, "Must be nice to have time for that. I could have done the same if I had your luck." "Oh, that's cool, but I just got a raise too." That's not support. That's competition dressed in politeness. It stings, because we all want our circle to cheer when we win. But when their support disappears as soon as your life improves, what does that say? It says they liked you better when you were beneath them, when you weren't a threat, when your life didn't make them feel insecure about theirs. Carl Jung spoke to this deeply. He said people often project their inner insecurities onto others instead of dealing with their own shortcomings. So instead of growing, they'll try to keep you small. And the worst part, they might never say it out loud. Instead, they'll compete in quiet, destructive ways. Copying your ideas without credit, one-upping your achievements, withholding praise, downplaying your success, spreading subtle doubt about you. Their ego can't handle your light, so they try to shade it. But here's what you need to remember. A true friend isn't threatened by your success. They're inspired by it. And someone who loves you doesn't secretly race against you. They run beside you, or they cheer from the sidelines. It hurts to accept, but some people were only close because your growth hadn't yet revealed who they really are. Growth is a spotlight. It shows who's for you and who was just around you. And listen carefully. You are not responsible for someone else's jealousy. Don't dim your brightness to comfort those who refuse to shine. Your path is yours. Your progress is sacred. And the people who can't handle that, let them fall away. Because the longer you stay around people who secretly compete with you, the longer you'll second-guess whether you're allowed to win. You are allowed. You were born to. Number 5. They drain you emotionally, but call it friendship. If someone constantly makes you feel emotionally exhausted, it's not a connection, it's a transaction. Dr. Nicole Lepera, the holistic psychologist. Let's talk about emotional vampires. They're not always toxic in an obvious way. In fact, they often seem warm, vulnerable, and deeply connected to you. They come to you when they're sad, anxious, or lost, and you give them your energy because you care. But here's the catch. When you're the one hurting, they're nowhere to be found. You're always the shoulder. You're always the listener. You're always the emotional sponge. Over time, this pattern becomes exhausting. You start feeling tired after every conversation. You dread their calls. You feel guilty when you ignore them, but drained when you don't. This is not connection. It's emotional labor disguised as friendship. Dr. Nicole Lepera explains it well. Many people mistake emotional dumping for vulnerability. One involves sharing, the other involves dumping energy without consent. And when someone constantly dumps their emotions on you without any awareness or reciprocity, they're not connecting with you, they're using you. It's a hard truth, especially when it's someone you care about. But a healthy relationship goes both ways. You deserve friends who ask how you're doing, people who listen without needing something in return, relationships that nourish, not just drain you. If you're always tired after talking to someone, that's not a coincidence. Your nervous system is telling you something. This is unsafe. This is unbalanced. This is too much. You are not a therapist. You are not a savior. You are not someone's emotional trash can. You are a human being with needs too. It's not selfish to protect your peace. It's self-respect. So, ask yourself honestly, who truly supports me? And who only shows up when they need something? Letting go of emotionally draining people doesn't make you heartless. It makes you whole again. Number 6. They mock or minimize your pain. What is not brought to consciousness comes to us as fate. Carl Jung. One of the deepest betrayals isn't physical, it's emotional. It's when you open your heart and someone laughs. It's when you reveal your pain and someone shrugs it off. It's when you share your trauma and they say, "You're being dramatic." It's not that serious. Other people have it worse. This is emotional invalidation, and it wounds more deeply than we realize, because pain is real, even if they don't understand it, even if they can't relate, even if it seems small to them. When someone mocks your pain, they don't just ignore your wounds, they reopen them. And the worst part? They often mask it as tough love or just joking. They'll say, "I'm just being honest." You're too emotional. You need thicker skin. But real honesty isn't cruel, and real love never laughs at your suffering. Gabor Maté reminds us that trauma isn't just what happens to you. Trauma is what happens inside you as a result of what happens to you. So, when someone constantly minimizes your pain, they're training you to disconnect from your own emotions. You begin to feel ashamed for feeling anything at all. You bury your tears, you fake your smile, you become numb just to be acceptable. That is emotional death. That is the slow destruction of your authentic self. You deserve people who say, "I believe you. I'm here with you. Your feelings matter." If someone can't hold space for your pain, they don't deserve access to your healing. Stop explaining your emotions to those committed to misunderstanding you. Your feelings are valid. Your wounds are real. Your healing deserves respect. Number 7. They discourage you from becoming who you're meant to be. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Carl Jung. This is the most dangerous kind of destruction, the kind that stops you from becoming you. You tell them you want to start something new. They roll their eyes. You say you're changing your habits. They tease you. You begin to believe in yourself, and they mock your confidence. And just like that, you start questioning your path, not because it's wrong, but because they feel uncomfortable watching you evolve. Their message is subtle but clear. Stay who you were. That's easier for me. This is identity sabotage. They don't want you to grow, not because they hate you, but because they're afraid of losing the version of you that they could control, define, and limit. Carl Jung called this the shadow aspect of human relationships. People often project their fears and limitations onto others to avoid facing them within themselves. So they tell you, you're changing too much. You're not like you used to be. You're acting different. And they say it like it's a bad thing. But change is life, growth is nature, and becoming your true self is your deepest purpose. You do not exist to remain small for the comfort of others. Let them say you've changed, because the truth is, you have. You're growing, healing, expanding. You're becoming the version of yourself you were always meant to be. And if someone can't accept that, they were only loyal to your limitations, not your liberation. You are not here to be the version of you that makes others feel safe. You are here to be free. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I am becoming who I was born to be. Until you know who is hurting you, you will keep calling it love. Let's take a breath. This wasn't an easy video to watch, because facing the truth about the people in our lives is often harder than facing the truth about ourselves. But awareness is power. You've now seen the signs, the subtle gaslighting, the guilt, the competition, the emotional draining, the minimization of pain, the mockery of your growth, the quiet fear of your transformation. These aren't small things, they are slow poisons. And over time, they kill your spirit. But you've made it here. You're no longer blind to it. You're no longer silencing your intuition. You're ready. It's okay to grieve relationships that once felt safe. It's okay to feel pain as you let go. But know this, healing is messy. Growth is uncomfortable. But staying around those who destroy you is far worse. You don't owe your peace to people who created your pain. You don't owe your loyalty to people who mock your light. You don't owe your energy to those who drain it. You owe it to yourself, to be surrounded by truth, to be uplifted, not suppressed, to be loved in your wholeness, not just in your weakness. As Carl Jung once said, the greatest burden a child must bear is the unlived life of its parents. But that burden doesn't have to become your story. You can break the pattern. You can choose differently. You can walk away from what destroys you, slowly or not. This is your life. This is your power. Reclaim it. If this video spoke to your heart, here's what I want you to do. Like the video if even one point resonated with your story. Comment the affirmations that spoke to you most. Share this with someone who's been silently struggling. And subscribe to the channel if you're ready to build a life rooted in strength, self-respect, and inner peace.